Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. It's been a while, probably over a month now since my last video, but today is a good day to get back on camera and bring you guys in on anything you've been missing out on, which in all honesty hasn't been much at all. We've been in, a weeks-long period now of being in what's called a polar vortex, and basically just super low temperatures. You're talking minus 15, minus 18 Celsius. And wind chills reaching right down into the minus 25 plus type of deal. So overall we've just been trying to hunker down in the house, try to stay warm, staying out of the elements as much as possible. And especially with the kids, you just can't get them outside in those temperatures. It's too dangerous for frostbite and frostburn. And so overall we've just been waiting for this to pass and entertaining ourselves inside, doing the minimum when it comes to taking care of the animals, just making sure they're fed, watered, and warm, and overall you haven't missed much, like I said. So today it's minus 4 out, minus 7 or so with the wind chill, not too much wind at all, thankfully. And I'm going to take you guys along on what our winter routine is for taking care of the animals. This is the same routine we've been doing all along now throughout the winter, and it may give you some ideas on what's involved in caring for animals through the winter, and give you some ideas how you can tackle it as well. So I'm going to take you guys in, show you a few details, and then we'll just get on into the process and get everybody all topped up on water and feed. Alright, let's get going. Alright everybody, so let's just get into supplies that we use during our daily routine of caring for the animals. We've got a couple of feed buckets, one with rabbit feed and one with chicken feed. We got our waterers. I got a 5-gallon waterer and a 3-gallon waterer, and then I got a little Kool-Aid mixing jug for small amounts of water to carry up there as well. This one is for the rabbits, whereas the waterers are for the chickens. I usually put a 5-gallon out in the chicken run and a 3-gallon inside the chicken coop itself. And there's actually a duplicate of these up with the chickens right now, because each day they end up frozen solid, so I swap these that I leave in the shed overnight to thaw with the ones that are frozen up in the run and the coop. So these have fully thawed out here now. They're actually a little bit on the low side, so we'll top them up along the way as well. And then I fill this one up for doing the little water bowls for the rabbits, and I'll show you that as well as we go. Alright, so that's all we have for supplies. We top up the feed as needed, and then I'll top up the water as needed, which is today as well. So let's get on outside and start in on this process. Alright, so that's the chicken water done. Like I say, it's pretty straightforward, but like I say, this is a solid block of ice. Some of it's starting to melt just where the sun is out now, and the greenhouse effect of having that vapor barrier on the run. But overall, like I say, we got a little bit of meltage, but this needs to go in the shed overnight now, and the ice chunk in here will melt down and be ready for tomorrow. So that's the chicken water done. Let's get these waters brought in the shed. We'll swap out now for the rabbit water and some feed, and we'll come back and top those up as well. Oh yeah, I have one more little tidbit for you. You may have noticed, but I took the snowblower and I cleared a trail back to these coops. So you can kind of see how the sun has melted it down to the grass. So now I'm not trudging through that heavy, deep snow, wasting my leg energy trying to plow through that. I can just walk normally on back to the coops. It saves a lot of time and effort. Alright, so that's step one done. Now next I'm going to move on to the rabbit's water and the feed. So I should be able to carry all those up together. So I'll just take, like I say, the 2 buckets of feed in one hand and then carry the water in the other. But I need to fill this water up. Usually I would use my sink in the little side washroom there. But today it's so sunny, I'm going to go out to the outside spigot, fill this up, and we'll go from there. Alright, so welcome back to the rabbit coop. Let's say right now we got 4 bunnies overwintering, and that'll pick up now come spring, summer when we start to breed again. But as for now, we still got a few in the freezer, and no need to try and breed in these temperatures. So here's my little Kool-Aid jug full of water. I'm just going to start, I usually go left to right, taking out their water bowls, emptying any ice that may have accumulated there overnight. Top them up with fresh water, and good to go. So let's start here now with Cookie. Some of you may remember Cookie, and he's doing great. We got a lot of hay in each cage right now, just so they can build some extra bedding to stay warm. And once it warms up, all that hay will come back out so that the waste and everything can fall through the mesh easier again. So as you can see, here's our little feeder bowls that we've been using. Sometimes they'll drink down. They will also nibble away at the ice. So we kind of got a little concave formation of ice on the edges here. So what I do, I just kind of push on the bottom. That breaks the ice inside. Dump that out, and then sometimes I'll give it a few knocks like that, and that'll get anything out that needs to come. So yeah, that's about it. I'll lay that in here now. Lay it down relatively flat, and then I'll just fill it up for them. And that's it. That's a little supply of water for the next 24 hours done for Cookie. He'll come over now and have a little sip. Maybe not. Usually they'll come over and have a good little drink. There he goes. Alright, so now with Cookie straightened away for water, we'll go over to Milky. And Milky looks anxious to get a bit of water, so same deal. Popping out some of the ice. Bang out what's left. And then we'll get that down on a flat area. Top it up for her. And she's right into drinking. All right, they're used to this routine now. They know to get the water while it's still thawed. I was actually out here one day, I think it was like -18, and by the time I did Cookie, Milky, Tetley, and Peter, when I went back to Cookie's cage, there was actually a layer of ice over the top of it. That's how fast it was freezing in that cold. So these bunnies know now that when the water pours, get it in you. All right, so let's move on now to Tetley. All right, here's our little Tetley, anxious for the water, if you couldn't tell. Already nipping at the jug. So she's got a little more left than the others. Sometimes I can't press it out, so just bang it out. All the ice is done. Lay it on a flat area. And in she comes. Alright, so this is our regular routine, just getting them all watered up every day. Make sure they got thawed water so that they're easy to drink. But again, they do nibble on the ice, helps kind of wear their teeth down as well. But I do have chew sticks in each cage as well, and they haven't really needed too much of it. Nibbling at the end of this one and on the edges, but overall they nibble on the ice and no issues with their teeth. Little top up. There we are. Okay, and last but not least, we'll head on down to Peter, see if we can get a good little view of him and get his water topped up. And then at that point we can top up all the feeders, but that can be done from the outside. And most of them are already pretty full. Plus they have that hay inside the cages. So they've kind of been eating the hay more so than the pellet right now. So I'll just top it up very, gently. There's only a small amount needed. But water has been the primary refill every day because the pellets don't freeze, the hay doesn't freeze, so that's all fine as far as food goes. But the water, definitely at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, depending on how much they're consuming and how thirsty they are. But usually once a day, these bowls do the job. Alright, so as you can tell, Peter he drank a bit, then it froze, and then he nibbled on the ice to make this divot here. So I'll try to pop that out like so, lay that in there, and then I'll fill that up. Let's see if he has a little drink while we're here. Indeed he will. And there you have it. That's the watering done. So let's get these guys closed up and we'll move on to the feed. And one other thing about the water is, I still got over half a jug here after filling up all these bowls. I don't typically let that go to waste. You've probably seen my video of doing the automatic watering system. Even though it's one big frozen chunk of ice right now, it's still not really topped off. So every time I have a little bit left over, I just dump it in there. So that when it does thaw out, it'll be full and ready to go. Saves a little bit of time down the road. So stitching time saves 9, as they say. Alright, so I'm just going to grab the feed out by the door there now and just top up these 4 feeders, and that's the rabbits done. Alright, so next on the feed list is our in-coop feeder. That's just here in the corner. It's a PVC system. I did a full video on how to make it. Still working great. So You may want to go back through the channel if you want to make a similar feeder yourself and find out how I did that. So what we're using throughout the winter now is a 16% layer feed. Sometimes due to availability I'll get an 18%, but we try to stay on the 16% side of things because that extra protein ends up being a bit smelly in their feces. So by keeping the protein down a little bit, it's a bit more tolerable through the whole winter and the coop doesn't smell so bad. One other thing we do is I have this little dish in there, and that's because I find that we have 4 silkies. We got 1 rooster and 3 hens, and they're a little more timid at getting at the food as what the other hens are, and the pecking order has kind of been shifting back and forth throughout the winter, and sometimes we're a little bit concerned that the silkies aren't getting enough. So we always make sure that this is full, because it's down low, they can just go pick at it quick and bail, you know. So I kind of take the wood shavings out of it, and then I'll just top this up with some more feed. Alright, so that leaves one more set of feed now to tackle, and that is in the chicken run. So let's head back in there and we'll top that one up. Probably won't top it up, it actually takes like 2 full buckets of feed to top it up. And they got a bad habit of flicking it all out on the ground. So I kind of keep that to a minimum just to keep the mess down. So let's go on in there now. Alright, so as you see here at the end of the run, I have the same PVC feeder, but with a longer storage tube on top. Right, so I can store probably at least 2 of these buckets down in that tube. But the most I'll put in usually is about 1 bucket full, wait for it to go empty, and they'll flick some out on the ground, and you'll know when they finally clean up the ground feed that it's time to fill it back up. And as for today, I'm not going to put the full bucket in there because there is still some scratch there on the ground. So they're probably just taking it, flicking it out on the ground. As you can see, the leghorn doing there now. Actually, that's a blue azure that's doing that. And Donkey Kong, the Rhode Island Red, she's flicking it over there as well. I'll bring you over and just show what they do. So as you can see, they're flicking a lot of feed out onto the ground. And the main reason that that's happening is because this PVC feeder in particular, I got a very short pipe on the inside there. So there's more feed going into the reservoir than what I would like. And that was done for the rabbits because I used that PVC feeder on the rabbits and it was harder for them to get the feed out if it was right down in the bottom. But now that the chickens have it, they can easily just flick the feed back outwards. So I'm going to have to put a different modified one in place. But for now, I just minimize the feed in the storage tube because we're not going anywhere. We're not going on no vacations where I need to fill the tube up full. And I just let that get down low, wait for him to clean up the ground feed, and then I'll put another bit in there. And that works out well. Doesn't get too messy in here. Alright, so that's the feed done. Water's done. That is the end of the chores other than collecting some eggs. So let's go see if we can get some eggs that are not frozen solid and split open today. Fingers crossed. Alright folks, so that's pretty much the whole routine in a nutshell. We got a half dozen eggs today. They all look to be in good shape, so hopefully they never froze throughout the day today. But yeah, so overall, you know, this goes a lot faster when you're not filming it and talking about it so much as I was today. You know, this is like a 10-minute job tops, you know, so you know, expect it to be a lot easier if you're not, you know, capturing it all on film and explaining what you're doing and such. So that's the whole process really. It's been working out well for us. The automatic feeders, having a duplicate of the waterers to swap them every day so that it thaws out overnight. Hold on, now the sun's a little bit bright here. But yeah, so having your waterers in a warm area so that they thaw out, whether it's the porch of your house or, you know, your basement, or if you have a shed, somewhere where it's warm enough for them to thaw out, then it's so easy just to carry them up, swap them out, bring the frozen ones down, and by the time 24 hours has passed and you're ready to do it all again, you got some thawed out water. So that's about it for our routine. I got a helicopter, seems to be on its way to make some noise, so I'm going to head on down to the shed, return these to my little supply table, and that's it for today. So it's a beautiful day. Got my vitamin D. I'm glad that I filmed today to be out here a little bit longer and enjoy it. And as you can tell, I'm outdoors able to talk to you guys with no wind noise. So that should show you how nice it is here today. And I am loving it. Feels good. So if you got animals, they give you an excuse every day, good weather or bad, to get outside, get that fresh air, get the sunlight on your face, or at least overcast sunlight sometimes. So anyways, that's going to be it. So here comes the helicopter to make a racket, but before it does, we'll see you in the next video. And until that happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out.